All right, let's get into this interview that Adam from Up and Adam had with Kyle Chan, who is Tom's good friend, and who else? Tom's new girlfriend, Victoria Lee. And this interview is due to all the smack Billie has been posting recently and talking about on her podcast. It was an hour and a half, over an hour and a half interview. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to tell you overall what they ended up on, what some of the juicy goss was, all that good stuff. Here on Bravo Hot Tea, I took all things Bravo, Housewives, VPR, and some good pop culture tea. I got you. So definitely subscribe, turn on notifications, give this video a like, and let's get into it. Okay, just guys, keep in mind this interview literally just like took place. It was over an hour and a half. So I'm still kind of like digesting everything that was said here. Some overall thoughts before I get into all the juice, the juicy goss. The first 20, 25 minutes, I thought it was like pulling teeth. It was a little bit slow. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we okay? Like the first like 5 minutes, I get it, of course. Ask, for some people who may not be familiar with Kyle Chan, he's been on Vanderpump Rules, in the scenes here and there. But for those people who aren't maybe familiar with Kyle Chan, okay, let's see what his relationship is to Tom. And Tom, you guys, he is in Scotland filming for a little show you guys have maybe heard of called Traders. So Traders 3 is what Sandoval is currently filming for. That's why he's not here. And I'm assuming he can't really be on his phone. So anyways, we get to know Kyle's relationship with Tom. Kyle was one of the very few people who stood by Tom Sandoval's side with the whole Sandoval situation, and Kyle Chan's whole thing was like, look, yeah, he did a bad thing, but like I'm still gonna be his friend. He needs, my support. Great. And then Victoria Lee, his Tom's new girlfriend. She said they've been dating since about February. She's a model. We already talked about it before. She used to date Leonardo DiCaprio. Um, and Billie kind of said in one of her comebacks, like, oh, you used to, now you're dating Tom Sandoval. Kind of like oh, you used to date Leo and now you're dating Tom Sandoval. Like, how desperate are you? All right, those were kind of my initial thoughts. It started off slow, which was getting a bit annoying, and I could see Adam pulling teeth. And I really like Adam, guys. Like he has a great channel. He gets a lot of good tea. Whether you guys like him or not, that's your business. I like his content. So good for him for getting this interview. I guess right. He got thousands of viewers. So kudos to Adam. Now let's get into it. So, like I said, the first little bit, it was kind of like pulling teeth, and I could see Adam just, doing his best to get all the info. Kyle Chan was talking a lot, and I'm just like, why is this girl even here? She barely said anything, or she's barely saying anything. I don't know, she said like a couple things. She's very soft spoken. She seems really nice. And then after maybe like half an hour, I did see her. Maybe she had like an energy drink. I couldn't tell what it was. After she did start to get kind of like riled up, and she even said she's just like very flustered, and she started like engaging and talking more. So that's good. We got like a lot more out of her. So, anyways, let's just kind of get into like the major points. I did think it was kind of funny when Victoria shaded Rachel Raquel, whatever her name is this week. I forget which part she came into or what it was about. But, anyways, let's just get into it. I'm just looking at my notes, guys. So, really, how they start off is Kyle Chan, at least. He was very, his whole thing about Billie was Billie seems like she's going through a lot. And I guess, Billie is a trans person. So maybe she went through a lot in her life regarding that. But he also said, like, yes, she needs a lot of love. And, let's all be like nice to her, give her some grace. And this was like before they got into like the meat of it, the whatever they said to basically body Billie, like they kind of buried her with what they said, or what they revealed about Billie, what Billie's been doing behind the scenes. So before they got into all the dirt, Kyle Chan was very much like, let's just give her love. She's been through a lot. The cast doesn't really want to hang out with her because she's always pulling out the trans card. And this is something like we've heard about Billie before, and that's one of the reasons why she's not really part of the cast. She just kind of like hangs around Tom, and that's when we see Billie. Um, and then they got into the whole thing about Victoria barging in, how apparently um, Billie was getting her nails done with Tom. That's what Billie said. How Billie was getting her nails done with Tom, and then Victoria barged in. Victoria is like super toxic. Victoria told someone to move Ariana's stuff from the primary. All this crap about Victoria and how Victoria moved Billie's plants from Tom's whatever part of the house to upstairs to one of the bathrooms. And while Adam is playing this clip of what Billie said on her podcast, Victoria is just like nodding, like profusely nodding, like, no freaking way. Like, no, I didn't do any of that. I didn't move any of her stuff or any of the things she suggested. And this is finally when, we see Victoria getting animated because she's pissed off. Like, what the heck? This girl, Billie, she's just like running her mouth. I didn't do any of that. Anyways, we get into the discussion about the drugs, the drinking, the accusation that once Victoria came into Tom's life, he went from being sober to like drinking and doing hard drugs. And guys, that's like kind of a big accusation. And Kyle kind of just relayed the fact that when Tom was going through, like when Sandoval, all that broke out, Tom started, he wanted to become sober. And so he was sober because he wanted to be sober with Rachel Raquel. And that's how Tom being sober started. But then since he felt good, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna continue my sobriety. And I guess now Tom's kind of drinking again, but the way Kyle Chan made it seem like is they just kind of cruise. They just take, I don't know, smaller shots. I don't know, guys. I don't drink, so I'll just take his word for it. Apparently, they're doing smaller shots than like the usual shots and like a whiskey here and there. But according to Billie, not Billie, she made it seem like they do hard drugs and there's drugs all around the house, which, that's quite an awful thing to say. Now, the whole intervention of it all, let's get into it. It's a lot, but at the end of it, the whole intervention, how it came through was Billie was essentially trying to isolate Tom. And the way these two made it seem like Billie is, yes, friends with Tom, but Billie wants to keep Tom all to herself. And from what Kyle was saying, Billie might like Tom in the sense Tom, stands up for her when some of the other folks in the cast and in that circle of friends might not be the nicest. And maybe she took that for something else. It went from loving him as a friend to something else. Guys, I'm getting into the juicy parts. Just I'm gonna get there, don't worry. But we gotta, cover all this other stuff that Billie was saying, or accusing these two of, or I don't know what she was doing. And this is where the slurring of the words. We're gonna get to the other accusations, but the slurring of the words, Victoria kind of cleared up. And she actually wanted Adam to pause the video when they were seeing a clip of Billie talk about Victoria slurring her words. And Victoria was like how she was in a car accident. And because of that car accident, she now has a speech impediment. It's not related to drugs. And she even said how Billie knew about this like car accident and the speech impediment that followed. Now, I personally, once I started, watching this interview, I just thought, oh, wow, like Victoria's kind of quiet. She just takes a very long time to speak. And then I'm like, I don't know, is there something going on? But if she's saying it's some sort of, speech impediment, I'm gonna, take her word for it, guys. Anyways, so the whole intervention of it, she was trying to play chess, but like it didn't really go well for her. She would say one thing to Billie about Kyle Chan. She would say one thing to Kyle Chan um about Victoria. And this is the kicker here. What Billie said to Victoria about Kyle Chan was actually quite disgusting. Apparently, Billie told Victoria how Kyle Chan wants to drug Tom Sandoval so Kyle can have his way with Tom. And you guys, not Tom, Kyle Chan and Tom have been friends for a very long time. I mean, don't you think if someone wanted to do that, they kind of would have like done that by now? So for Billie to make such an accusation, that's pretty messed up. Now, at the end of the day, there's no proof. None of this is substantiated, guys. None of what Billie said is substantiated. None of what they said is substantiated. Later in the interview, Kyle Chan does show a text, not a screenshot. He did show a screenshot at first, but the text does exist. We will get into that. So that was kind of like one of the big like bombs that they dropped where they bodied Billie in a way, if it is correct, if she's really going around saying that. And again, I want to emphasize you and I will never know the truth. We're just watching. It's just Friday night entertainment for you and I. Like, let's be so freaking for real here. So we got the drugs, we got the intervention, we got what Billie said. There's a lot. I'm not even gonna how Victoria got the information. It's a lot, guys. Now, once Billie found out that Kyle Chan was also going to be part of the Up and Adam interview, she then she then texted Kyle Chan and tried to like switch things up. So let me see if I can like pull up the image. So the first sentence, that's Billie saying, "Can you talk privately today?" And then Kyle is like, "Hi, I can." Why does that say March? Okay, anyway. Okay, so it said, "Hi, I can." And then she wrote, and you guys, the text said today at 2:50, is that 2:54? So I'm just trying to think. They live in the West Coast, so 2:54 is 5:30 or where I can't. Okay, I'm trying to do the math here where they are. Anyways, doesn't matter. Apparently prior to this interview, Billie texted Kyle Chan, and then Billie was like, so Victoria literally said you were fake and in love with Tom and drugged him. So now Billie is switching it instead of, so what she said to Victoria was, "Hey, Kyle Chan is the one trying to drug Tom and, have his way, whatever." And now she's switching it. Billie to Kyle Chan is like, "Oh, Victoria said this about you." Like how she didn't say it, but Victoria said it. How Kyle Chan, you're in love with Tom and, tried to drug him. How are you going on a podcast with her? You know how bad things got with Tom and Victoria. I never said a word till she started commenting on Ish. So the part where Billie's like, "Oh, I only started going after Victoria when she started commenting on Ish." This part got a little bit convoluted and confusing, but Victoria basically tried to clear it up how she didn't go Billie didn't go after Victoria for the comment. It was something related to something months before or weeks before. Guys, this literally just came out. I'm still gathering my thoughts. But basically, Billie is not going after Victoria for a comment she made on like a fan account regarding all of this. It was because of something else from weeks ago. And Billie had already connected with her manager. Look, at the end of all this, I really just think, hold on, I need to call. Okay. I really just think Billie wanted some views and eyeballs and interaction, engagement for her podcast. And I guess she's going on some comedy tour. And maybe all of this was going on in Billie's head. Who knows? And on a podcast, a lot of people, a lot of like reality stars, what do when they're not being filmed or whatever, or even when they are filming? They talk about the people and drama in their life. And for Billie, I think it just kind of went like haywired. I don't really know how else to explain it. And then these two got together and then they're like, no, we're gonna like spill the beans. This is what she's been doing behind the scenes, how she's been trying to isolate Tom. She's trying to make people fight. She's putting together an intervention, which nobody even knew about, but she kind of put together behind the scenes. And then they all somehow figured it out. Now, I'm gonna like cut through some of the stuff because it was kind of long. It was over an hour and a half. Here's the other bombshell that they dropped. None of this is substantiated. Keep that in mind, guys. Consider me a medium to give you the smart Spark Notes version of this. This interview literally just took place. According to Victoria, Billie apparently asked Tom to be her sperm donor and asked for that baby to have Tom's last name. And you guys, we know the ego that Tom Sandoval has. So obviously he was flattered. And Victoria even said, like, look, on the spot, Tom said he'll think about it. This is a very serious topic. It doesn't matter who you are. What are you going to do? Shut someone down? Like, obviously, it took them a lot of courage to even ask you. So you have to handle it delicately. So I guess in the moment, um, Tom, he didn't flat out say no to Billie. He just said, I'll think about it. What are you gonna do in that moment? Ooh, and you think that discussion about the donor and the last name is going to, stay between Billie and Tom? Apparently not. They meet Karama from Queer Eye, which is on Netflix, at some party. And Karama goes up to Tom Sandoval and he's like, heard you were gonna have a baby. What? What? Hold on. What did you just say? Apparently, Billie's going around town telling people Tom's gonna have a baby with her. He's gonna, donate his goods. Meanwhile, Tom never even considered it. Like, it would never even be something that he would do. He would, in Tom's case, it seems like he wants to have a kid, but he wants to have a kid with a woman that he's like truly in love with. And he seems like he wants that like traditional family life. Maybe as a man, that's something he needs. Who knows? But there's no way he is considering what Billie asked from Tom. So that was kind of the juice, like the main, pieces of juice against Billie. The whole like Kyle Chan drugging Tom to have his way, and then Billie apparently wanted Tom's goods to have a kid. Now, apparently, right before Billie went on her podcast to spew whatever she said about Victoria, Victoria apparently was blocked prior to Billie saying all this salacious content, and really, Billie just did it all for clicks. And Victoria was like, well, if dating Tom is so low, then why do you want him to be a donor? Like, that makes no sense. And I gotta give it to Victoria. That's a fair point. And Kyle Chan is like, look, at least if she's doing it for money, like at least if she's doing it for clicks, it at least kind of like makes sense, because when the whole Sandoval situation happened, we saw Lala and Sheena running their mouths every day on their podcast, and think about all the money those two girls made. And even Tom was like, hey, if you guys are going to like run your mouth and you're doing it for clicks, okay, at least say that. I can at least kind of understand that you guys got to eat. and you got to pay for your 2 mortgages. So I could at least understand that. So that's kind of where Kyle Chan is coming from. Like, okay, if this girl just wants more engagement, she wants more clicks, this is why she's doing it. But when you say salacious stuff about people like that, you better be careful because you might, catch a suit. Now, Adam being Adam, he always talks about conflict resolution and he's trying to get some sort of resolution. And at this point, I feel like we've been at this interview for just over an hour and we think we're about to, close the chapter on this. But, anyways, Adam's like, is there any resolution? Like, where do we go from here? And Kyle Chan is just like, he was never like really close to Billie, so for him it's like whatever, like no love lost. And he not Tom, Kyle Chan reiterated throughout the whole interview, like whatever she's been through, she clearly needs love. Like just everyone be like good to her. He's not holding any grudges. Whatever creativity, whatever embellishment she does with this salacious stuff with them, she should bring that energy to her comedy show. Like, use your energy wisely, use it over there. And then Victoria's like, like, there's no point in having, a relationship with her. And especially the drug stuff she said about Kyle Chan, that's just like way too far. And she just like wants to be left alone, which she reiterated a bunch of times. Now, like I said, we think we are, approaching the end of the interview, but really, Victoria ends up opening up. We get into the whole discussion about when Billie was like, oh, this girl doesn't even work. She can't even keep a job. Like, that's pretty salacious, saying that someone doesn't work all day. They're just like sleeping all day. They don't do anything. And Victoria is like, um, no, I've been working since I was 18, 19. I've been a model. What is she, like 31 now? Um, Victoria actually takes care of her father and his health. I guess it's gotten worse. He has some sort of a swollen brain, I think is what she said, something with his brain, and he has memory loss. And so now she's taking care of him even more compared to before. She has her own house in the hills. She is a successful model. Um, Granted, maybe not like, in Adriana Lima, Victoria's Secret, but still, you could still be a successful model without like being on the runway. And she's been modeling for a very long time. So she's worked hard for like a decade plus to save her money, buy a very nice house, take care of her father. And it just seems like the way she explained it is she's experiencing burnout. And a lot of you with corporate jobs, burnout is a very real thing. You never know when you're going to experience it, when it's going to hit you. When you experience burnout, you just have to take some time and deal with it. And that's kind of like what I got from Victoria, is what she was saying. Clearly she's just like going through a lot. She's crying a lot. She was tearing up at this point, and even Adam was tearing up at this point, and I'm watching it at home. So I'm just like, oh my God, this girl has been through so much. Like, and if, all this is true, for Billie to say, "Oh, this girl can't keep a job," like, what? Billie? Like, if you know this is what Victoria's going through, are you really just saying that stuff to get clicks and engagement on your podcast? Like, that's kind of messed up, guys. So Victoria breaks down the whole, not working thing. She's basically taking a break from work. And the assistant thing, because Billie was like how Tom was trying to get Victoria an assistant so that she could work more. But Victoria tried to clear it up in this interview, like, no, I actually needed an assistant because I was feeling overwhelmed. And how she had just moved into a new house. She needs a new assistant for, like, I don't know, filming stuff related to modeling. And of course, she's taking care of her dad more. This is the part that got me a little bit confused because Victoria's like how she's taking a little bit of a break from modeling, but then she's also saying she's very overwhelmed and needs an assistant. Guys, I don't know. I'm just watching the drama. I'm just reporting to you, what the tea is from Billie and now, these two on the interview. Um, Maybe we'll find out more stuff down the road. This is literally, hot off the press or whatever the saying is. At the end of the day, we're now finally actually ending the interview. Victoria's just like, stop. The billing is not nice. Leave me alone. She said that multiple times. And she just said she can't forgive Billie for the stuff she said about Kyle Chan. And Kyle Chan is just like, again, he said, guys, don't bash her, because Billie probably went through a lot of struggle in her life. She probably needs some love. And he made it very clear, like, if this was someone else, they would have, caught a suit by now. There would have been a lawsuit by now because at the end of the day, this man, I guess he's a well-known jeweler. He has a jewelry store. He's worked very hard to build it up, and this is defamation. This is slander against him. Saying such stuff about this man, he could very easily go after Billie and like sue her. But he's like, I'm not gonna do it. But I think she's learned her lesson. So let's give her some grace. And he's just like, I think from here on out, she'll think twice about slandering people. And he just reiterated, like, you know what, channel that energy to your comedy show. And Victoria again was like, girl, just leave me alone. And she said something funny at the end. She was like, oh, I think Tom's actually like a little bit afraid of Billie. So I don't know. Tom's gonna have to come back from filming Traitors 3, season 3 of Traitors, and answer for himself. Good job to Adam, Up and Adam, for scoring this interview. Really, the top couple things were the baby, how Billie apparently asked Tom to have a like for him to be the donor. The drug stuff she said about Kyle Chan. I guess with those two things, these Kyle Chan and Victoria think they bodied Billie. I don't know, guys. You can make up your own, your own thoughts and your own opinion. I'm just giving you the Spark Notes version. I know we're, getting it's me trying to give you the Spark Notes version. We're a little bit long here, but the interview itself was very long. And at first it started really slow, but then it did get a little juicy and it got kind of sad and then got kind of juicy again. The interview was so long that she had to the poor girl basically had to relieve her bladder. At the end of the day, is it just so that Billie Lee can get clicks and engagement on her channel and her, I don't know, tickets for her comedy show? Who knows? Who even knew she did comedy? Tom, I don't know. You're gonna have to audit the people that you associate with because it's just like drama. I do think there's certain types of folks who are drama and then they cling on to other people that are filled with drama. The only person winning here is Ariana. So let's end off on a good note. Let's all enjoy our Friday. You guys, let me know in the comments what you think of all of this. It is a lot to, I guess, process. But anyways, you guys let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Subscribe to my channel, Bravo Hot Tea. I cover, all things Bravo, Housewives, VPR, and some good pop culture tea. I don't even know if I had my notes ready for you guys properly, but I'm just coming in hot off the press with this interview just ending. And yeah, more hot tea to, come out of this channel. I got y'all. I will catch you all later.